Brothers and sisters, today is a really special day, especially for us at the Dominican House of Prayer, for our Dominican House of Prayer team. If many of you would know Father Ignatius, that I've been doing some mission with, along with Ina and Tom. And you could say that a big part of the charism as well is we have Carmelite hearts in many ways, along with having Dominican hearts. The great inspirations of the Carmelite order, St. John of the Cross, St. Teresa of Avila, St. Therese of Lisieux, St. Elizabeth of the Trinity, of whom tomorrow we're going to hear so much about from Dr. Lillis, which I'm really excited, and I hope you guys will be able to join us. And today is the great feast of St. Teresa of Avila, and so it's worth just honoring her in this special way and asking for her intercession for all of us to receive deep graces of prayer. And what can we say about St. Teresa of Avila? We could say so much. She has written so much and is considered a doctor of the church and really known to be the doctor of prayer, along with John of the Cross. And, you know, her teaching about the spiritual life is being held up to us by the church as a great master of the spiritual life. So we should pay particular attention to her doctrine of prayer, how she can lead us through her advice, because she has literally breathes and moves in the gospel in a profound way and communicates that to us to help us towards the heights of union with God. Remember that in this life already, we can grow more and more into a taste. And St. Thomas of Aquinas would speak a lot about this in his work, and that I'm really discovering more and more about the ways that St. Thomas would describe the experience that we could have of God in this life already, a foretaste. And for him, the Eucharist is a foretaste of spiritual refreshment, to the point that is a foretaste of the life to come. And so St. Teresa of Avila gives us some real practical tools and tips to how we can grow in this tasting of heavenly life already on earth. And of course, it involves the cross. It involves great sacrifice. And so the first fundamental grounds for Teresa, like a lot of other spiritual writers, is to say, well, it's humility. We need utter and complete humility, which is really rare. And we have to beg that grace from God, because humility will help us discover the truth about ourselves, that we are really nothing, and all the good things in our life, we can take credit for that. Oh, it's me. Yes, I'm cooperating with God, but essentially God's the prime mover. He's the author of that goodness, and we must respect that, because Jesus says, without me you can do nothing, and it's true. So humility recognizes our complete need for God, and that God is worthy of all our attention, all our love. You see, if we really have charity in our hearts, the gift of love, the gift of the Holy Spirit, we'll be really seeking to do everything for God. That's a sure sign that the Holy Spirit is really in the soul, is that we want to do everything for the sake of love of God. Even when we love each other, it's for the sake of the love of God. Why? Because there is nobody more worthy, more beautiful, more good of all our love than God. There's nobody more kind, more merciful, more incredible to us than God. And so it's just logical, and just we tend to love people in the natural, you know, other fellow family members or friends who are so kind to us. We have a special love for them. But God is greater than all of them. God's more kind, more beautiful, more good, more loving than anyone. So and the fact that he's God and he's given us everything, we owe him in justice, owe him in this beautiful justice, this beautiful, we just owe him everything. And St. Teresa of Avila would say spiritual life begins with that humility, recognizing all of this. Then she would also say that if you want to climb to the heights of prayer, which is really allowing God to draw you to the heights of prayer, to cooperate with the movement of the Holy Spirit, to bring you to taste this heavenly life in this earth, to have a union with God on earth that fills the soul with his presence in a special way, then we need to make a firm commitment to set out on the highway of prayer. We need to make that that radical, and it's radical. Don't fool yourself. Do not fool yourself. And I say this to my own self. Setting off to pray and to find this union with God involves the cross, involves a radicality of life. It involves a complete ordering of your life to search for God and to cut out a lot of unnecessary stuff that take our pleasures away from God and turn it to the world. St. Teresa of Avila herself, in her own life, for a good while in the convent, wasted so much time in gossip in the parlor, and she said that she regretted it so much, that she spent so much time on useless stuff. And after her awakening, kind of come back into her faith, you know, she then set off with this commitment to put God first. You know, there's so many things that she says, but she says, if we're intimate with God, we will have great power over God's heart.